Hi, welcome to Off the Shelf with Christine and Friends. I love seeing some of my favorite books being adapted into movies and shows. Imagine knowing all the plot twists, characters, and every Easter egg before all your friends have even purchased their first ticket. Well, get ready because we are unveiling the must see upcoming book to film adaptations that you absolutely want to read now to be ahead of the curve. As always, if you wish to be notified of future videos, make sure to like and subscribe below. Let us know in the comments what you think of these picks and if there's any other shows that you're looking forward to. And if there's any other books that you think would make a great adaptation, maybe we'll see that in the near future. But right now, let's get on to those shows. We're going to start with some items that were released in January. First up, we have His and Hers by Alice Feeney. Now, this psychological thriller follows a news reporter and a detective as they investigate a murder in their own hometown, where everyone has a secret to hide and no one is above suspicion. I'm really enjoying this adaptation. It's keeping me on edge. Can't wait to find out how it finishes. In The Seven Dials Mystery by Agatha Christie, a practical joke at a country house turns fatal when a very heavy sleeper is found dead, apparently from an overdose of sleeping pills. His friend, Lady Eileen Bundle Brent, investigates and uncovers a dangerous secret organization known as the Seven Dials. Now, this thriller is a departure from Christie's more common locked room style mystery, and it is available on Netflix. Looking further into the world of Westeros is A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms on HBO. The first season is based on the Hedge Knight novella by George R. R. Martin, which follows the adventures of common-born Hedge Knight Sir Duncan the Tall and his mysterious young squire Egg. This novella is the first in the A Knight of Seven Kingdoms book compilation of novellas, so I'm sure we're going to see more of them in seasons to come. Now we're going to head on to some romances. First up, we have People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. Now, this friends to lovers romantic comedy was released in January, and I found it to be an enjoyable, lighthearted movie. And I'm looking forward to now reading the book to see how closely they're connected. We also have Bridgerton Season 4, which is based on the third book, An Offer from a Gentleman by Julia Quinn. This is part of the Bridgerton series, and this one focuses on the Cinderella-esque romance between Benedict Bridgerton and Sophie. In February, we have the theatrical release of Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. Now, I have just recently read this book, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this adaptation to see how closely it relates. I've heard some interesting comments that it may be a little bit different than the actual classic book. We also have season 2 of The Last Thing He Told Me, based on the book by Laura Dave. It's releasing in February on Apple TV, and it's this season, the second season, is based on the sequel book, The First Time I Saw Him, which was actually just released in January. Another favorite classic of mine is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Now, in March, PBS will be having a little miniseries on this classic tale of betrayal and revenge, which centers around Edmond Dante, a young sailor who is wrongfully imprisoned on his wedding day due to jealousy. And he endures many years of captivity. After escaping with a hidden fortune, he transforms into the wealthy Count of Monte Cristo and ruthlessly destroys all those who imprisoned him and betrayed him. Now, in March, we have Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Now, this sci-fi film, which is starring Ryan Gosling, follows Ryland Grace, who is a junior high teacher and he wakes up alone on a spaceship with amnesia, realizing that he's on a desperate last chance mission to save Earth from an alien microbe that is dimming the sun. Now, this book has been on my TBR for quite a bit. I've heard wonderful things about it. I cannot wait to read it and then go see this movie. I'm hoping it's just as good as The Martian, which I thoroughly enjoyed and loved. And now we have, for those romance fans, we have Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover that is being adapted into a theatrical release in March. Then we also have Margot's Got Money Troubles by Rufi Thorpe. This is being adapted into an Apple TV miniseries in April, and it's about after an affair with a junior college professor leaves her pregnant. Margot embarks on an unusual journey to support herself and her new baby. Now, for those of you who have seen some of our previous videos, you know I'm a huge fan of the Remarkably Bright Creatures book by Shelby Van Pelt, and I cannot tell you how excited I am that in May, Netflix is releasing a movie adaptation of this tale of an octopus and the woman who befriends him. Can't wait for it. Sally Field, I understand, is going to be starring in this movie as well. Greek mythology fans can experience The Odyssey by Homer in its theatrical release in July. Now, this star studded cast includes Matt Damon as Odysseus. We also have Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Zendaya, and Robert Pattinson, just to name a few of the big stars in this film. I love a good action film in the summer months, and this one looks like it's absolutely going to fit the bill, especially as I'm a lover of Greek myths. Set for a September theatrical release is the sequel to the cult classic Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman, and it is the Book of Magic, Practical Magic 2. This is based on the final book in the Owens family saga, where they try to break the curse that has plagued their family for over 300 years, which basically ensures that they will never be able to find love. I enjoyed this series immensely, especially the prequels to Practical Magic, and I'm really anxious to see how this adaptation plays out. I'm hoping the prequels will be next in this series, and that they will adopt them as well. Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman will be reprising their original roles from Practical Magic in the Book of Magic. And in October, we have another Colleen Hoover adaptation. It's the psychological thriller Verity. I am hoping that this film is going to feature the original ending and not the extra chapter that was added into the book after it had received a new fan base when it was released. Became a big TikTok book a couple of years ago. For those of you who have read that last chapter, you'll know. Definitely, I think it'll do better without it. Another movie that I'm really looking forward to is the adaptation of Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. Now, this film focuses on the 50th Hunger Games, providing us with some backstory of Hamish Abernathy, who was District 13's only other victor. It was such an emotional read for me, but kind of in a good way. Even though I knew most of the details of Hamish's life and games, and his participation from all the other books that I had read, you learned so much more of his life and heartache and everything that devastated Hamish and all he suffered. It was kind of really heartbreaking, but it was one of the best books that I read last year, and I'm really hoping they do it justice. Being released in theaters in November with a Netflix release for Christmas is The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis. Now, this is a prequel to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and it explains the details of the creation of Narnia, the origin of the White Witch, and the adventures of Diggory, Kirk, and Polly Plummer. This film is the first part of a multi-year deal between Netflix and C.S. Lewis Company, so I'm sure there will be more adaptations of the series to follow. Now we have a few adaptations that are tentatively scheduled to be released this year, but we haven't received any official dates. So one is the romance novel, The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Really enjoyed the book. Can't wait for the film. And then we also have part 3 of the science fiction Dune trilogy. Now, that trilogy is based on the first 2 books of the series by Frank Herbert. While neither of the movies, like I said, have an actual release date, Dune is tentatively scheduled for December, so fingers crossed. And now I have a few adaptations that were released last year and they were recommended to me by other of my fellow coworkers. Check them out. If you missed them last year, check them out this year. First up, we have The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. Now, that was released on Netflix. Love the book, love the series, really enjoyed the movie. All signs are pointing to sequels coming out in the near future, so fingers crossed it does happen. We also have Wicked for Good, which came out in the fall of 2025. That was part two of the adaptation of Wicked by Gregory Maguire. It is soon to be released on several streaming services, so you'll get a chance to watch that if you missed the theater release. We also have Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Now, that was in theaters in October of 2025, and it is now streaming on Netflix, so good time to catch that as well. We also had The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. I really loved that thriller, so it was released in October on Netflix. Give that one a go. We also had The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. Now, that was again released in theaters December 2025, but the thriller is now available on select streaming services for purchase, but it will be hopefully eventually just available in general. And finally, we have The Conclave by Robert Harris. Now, this was late 2024 into 2025. It's on Amazon Prime. This was recommended to me by Walter, and he loves political thrillers, and he said that this was a great one that centered around the papal conclave to elect a new pope. So it looks like we have lots of good viewing that's coming out in 2026. Can't wait to see all of these. I don't know. Are there any other adaptations that you were looking forward to? Let me know in the comments because we'll keep our eye out for them. Or do you have any books that you think would make a great film? I would love to hear that as well. Until next time, happy reading, happy watching, enjoy.